Hola, hi. How are you? I'm just having some ginger tea, not tree, ginger tea. I just finished up a coaching call for the day. I've had a really long work day. My brain is tired. I'm exhausted. And I want to do an Instagram live and talk to you about something that came up on a coaching call with a client. A coaching call that I just had with a client. And this is something that, ironically enough, whatever it is that I'm supporting my clients through is something that I am working on myself. It's always very relatable and mirrors back to me what I'm going through working on in my own life or in myself. And this whole idea of good enough and feeling like I am good enough. And what I was contemplating was, what if I am good enough as I am? What if I can be good enough for myself? Then does it matter if I'm good enough for the world, if I'm good enough for somebody else? Like, if I can be good enough for myself, then it doesn't matter who else I'm not good enough for, if that makes sense. So that's what I was contemplating, and I kind of just had a realization, which was that if I'm good enough, if I feel and believe that I am good enough, then that's what I will be reflected back. And so really just contemplating and sitting with myself and asking like these really empowering questions is, what makes me good enough? Like, what is the measure? What is the quantifiable figure that makes someone good enough? Like, is it something that can be quantified? Is it something that can be measured? Is it something that can be weighed? Like, what makes us good enough? And what I've come to realize through introspection and just journaling and meditating on this is that good enough is a perception. It's how we perceive it. Like, isn't that a perception? If I'm good enough, if something is good enough, if someone else is good enough, isn't that just a perception? Like, it's a perception, and perceptions aren't facts. Perception is what it is. Perception is how you look at something. Perception is how you choose to see it. Perception is how you choose to define it. Perception is how you choose to interpret it. Perception is the meaning that you give to something. Perception is not fact, but whatever or however you perceive yourself or someone or something to be then becomes your reality, because your perception creates your reality. Your perception is your reality. And so if I perceive myself as I'm not good enough, then that perception becomes my reality of myself. But I'm not good enough is just a perception. It's not a fact. I'm like thinking out loud right now. And that is just like mind blowing to me right now. Like, it's blowing my mind to realize that the deep-seated belief that I have about myself that I'm not good enough is just a perception, is just one way out of the infinite ways of looking, of knowing, of feeling about myself. Like, it's not a fact, it's just a perception. And a perception is something that I conclude to based on my definition, based on my interpretation of who I think I am. Perceptions are always rooted in thought patterns, because perception is something that you choose to think, which then determines you looking for it and then you perceiving it. So perception is just a very malleable, a very I don't know. It's just very transparent. Like, who I'm good enough is a perception, and perceptions aren't facts. So the question I'm thinking about right now to myself is, what if I decided, what if I just chose that who I am is good enough? And stop placing it as a condition. Stop putting a condition on it. Stop making it something that has to be quantifiable or measurable. What if it's just a decision? What if it's just a choice in deciding how I want to perceive, how I want to feel, how I want to think, how I want to show up about myself? Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Tell me if that makes sense. So what if you are also good enough? And you always have been good enough? And why would you question something about yourself if you didn't really think that is who you are? The only reason you question something, the only reason you question it, I guess that's what I'm saying. The only reason you question something, or the only reason you 100% don't believe an idea or a thought about yourself, is because you know deep down, your soul knows deep down that is not who you are. I like to always think of it like this way. A lie needs to be told a bajillion times in order for it to feel like the truth. And why is it that we need to tell ourselves disempowering, negative things about ourselves? Like, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I'm not capable, I'm not beautiful, I'm not smart, I'm not deserving, I'm not whatever. But why is it that we need to tell ourselves these things over and over again? Why can't we just say it to ourselves once and then stop? Because what we're telling ourselves are lies. And lies need to be told again and again and again and again in order for them to seem like the truth. So in reality, all the lies that you've been telling yourself for so many years are actually lies. They're not real, because if they were real, you wouldn't need to tell yourself those things over and over again. That's how you know when something is a lie. If you need to keep reiterating it to yourself, you need to keep reminding yourself, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough, or I'm not worthy, or I'm not capable, or I'm not beautiful. There's a reason you have to keep reminding yourself of that, because lies need to be told over and over again in order for them to seem like the truth. Whereas the truth about you, or the truth in any matter, doesn't need to be constantly reiterated, constantly like hammered in the head, because the truth just can stand alone. You know, the truth is that I'm alive. Do I have to tell myself 20 million times a year that I'm alive? No, I'm alive and I know it. I move on with my life, but I do have to tell myself 20 million times a year that I'm not good enough. And the reason I have to tell myself that 20 million times a year is because it's a lie. And lies need to be told over and over again for them to seem like the truth. So my question to you is, what are the lies you've been telling yourself? That you have told yourself for 5, 10, 15, 30 years, that they seem like they are the truth now. But the reason they are the truth is because you've told yourself these lies for so many years, and they seem like the truth. But lies feel bad, right? Any single time, anyone that's ever been lied to, and you know you've been lied to, how do you feel? You feel bad. And so when you tell yourself a lie over the course of your life, over decades, over years, you start to feel really bad, and you start to feel really bad about yourself. And so, but when you start telling yourself the truth, in my case, the truth is I'm good enough for myself, The reason it doesn't feel like the truth is because the lie has been told so many times that the lie seems like the truth. So when the real truth is here, you discredit that as that being the truth, and you think the lie that you've been telling yourself for so many years is the real truth. But that truth that is disguised as the truth, which is actually a lie, feels bad because lies feel bad and truth feels good. This is why the truth sets you free. Does that make sense? Give me a thumbs up. The stories that I've been telling myself based in what I was told about myself have no power on me anymore. Great, because you probably realized the things that you have told yourself were all lies. And lies feel bad. And we all reach a point, not all of us, some of us, most of us, if you're here, you're watching this, you have reached a point where you care too much about the quality of your life. You care too much about the way you feel. You care too much about yourself to stop being so self-destructive and start taking charge and responsibility for your one life. There is no redo. This is not a dress rehearsal. This is the main show. Like, I often sometimes sit and think about this a lot, contemplate about my own morality. Like, how every passing day that goes by, I'm getting closer and closer to my death. Like, just think that for a second. Like, every passing day is bringing me closer to my death. And I'm sitting here worrying and mulling and making all this nonsensical, transient stuff so serious when I'm gonna die one day. Like, my own life is not even guaranteed. There is no certainty on my life. I'm going to die. And I'm sitting here in my head making all these judgments and worries and like feeling miserable just because of what? Because all this stuff that's not even real to begin with. It's not even permanent. It's all impermanent. It's all impermanent. Yes, it's all impermanent. Like, that really inspires me and puts a lot of things into perspective, because, you know, our problems become our passions, and we become so passionate about our problems, and we tell the same story to every single person we meet. Hey, do you know that this is going on in my life, or this is what's happening, this is what's bothering me, this is who did what to me, this is what happened. It's like our problems become our passions, and we tell the same story to every single person we meet, and then we tell these stories to ourselves day in and day out. And these stories and these problems become our identity. They become our source of, you know, our way of knowing ourselves. And without our problems, we don't know who we are. So it becomes really uncomfortable for us to change. And so many of us are afraid to change because we don't know who we are without our problems, because our problems have become our passion. And a problem cannot exist without you constantly thinking about it, with you worrying about it. So a worry is what sustains a problem. Without worry, a problem couldn't really exist. The fact that you're constantly thinking about it is worry. Whenever we constantly think about something over and over again, it's always done in this worrisome manner. And worrying is what sustains a problem, which is what keeps the problem alive, which then feeds our passion for this problem, which then fuels our sense of self from this problem. And without all of this, we have no idea who we are. And then so many of us get so scared of, wait, who am I without this problem? And do I even want to know who I am without this problem? Like, we become so attached to our problems. They become our passions. They become our source of identity. They become our source of comfort in a way, when there is nothing comfortable about it, but it becomes our safe space. Yeah, that came up on a coaching call. Our problems become our passions. That's a good one. Yeah, so really contemplating, what lies have I been telling myself for so many years that they seem like the truth. And when I actually tell myself the truth, I can't recognize the difference between a truth and a lie anymore, because I've told myself a lie for so long that the lie has become the truth. So when I actually am presented with the truth, I question the truth, but I never question the lie, which has now become the truth because I have said it to myself so many times. So what lies have you been telling yourself that seem like the truth? And you know they are lies because they feel bad. Lies always feel bad because if you have ever been lied to, you know how bad that feels. So when someone else lies to you and you find out that they've been lying to you, but they made it seem like it was the truth, it made you feel so bad. So imagine if you're doing that to yourself constantly. You're lying to yourself, and then you have enough awareness within you, enough consciousness within you to raise your level of consciousness and start questioning these lies. And you start to realize, oh my gosh, I've been lying to myself all these years. And these lies seem like the truth, but they're really lies because I fucking know for once now, with my awareness and realizing that this has felt bad for so long. And if I continue to tell myself these lies, and now I know I'm telling myself these lies, and I'm continuing to do it because it's just habitual and just on autopilot at this point. If I continue to tell myself these lies, I'm going to continue to feel bad. So if I want to feel better, if I want to feel good, I got to tell myself something different. I got to start telling myself the truth. But the truth isn't going to seem like the truth. The truth is going to seem more like the lie, because the lie starts to seem like because the lie feels like the truth, whereas the truth feels like the lie. It's like become reversed. But if you can tell yourself a lie enough times and it seems like the truth, then you can tell yourself the truth to start making it feel like the truth. Hope that makes sense. Share your thoughts with me in the comments. Share with me what you got out of this and keep the conversation going, because this is something that just, I felt really inspired to share it. And the other thing I want to share with you is that question your lies, because the lies you've told yourself seem like the truth, but they're not the truth because the lies feel bad. If you're feeling bad about yourself, if you're feeling bad about anything, it's because you're lying to yourself about it, and lies feel bad. And so start telling yourself the truth, because the truth feels good, the truth sets you free, and the truth definitely feels better. And that is another reason why you can tell yourself the truth. All right, loves, take care, and I will see you later this week.